Welcome to Sharing Love and Light Show, Vibration and Consciousness on the Planet, where we talk about all things metaphysical, manifestation, and starseeds. I am your host, Kimberly Barrett. I am a psychic medium, quantum energy healer, and starseed activator, here to hold the light and help shift the vibration and consciousness on the planet. Sharing Love and Light Show is here every week on Ethereal TV, designed to help you tap into your personal power and shift your energy so you can step into your life's purpose and manifest your dreams. I believe love is not a bird, it is a state of being. In this episode, I have a special guest with me today. She's going to talk to us all about transforming your health for Lightworkers. Practical ways to lower your cortisol levels. Her name is Jill Hahn. She supports and empowers others to reclaim their energy and their health as both a transformational health coach and Lightworker. She is a certified Reiki Master in Usui, Holy Fire, Sekhem-Seichim, and she's certified Blue Star Celestial Energy. Jill comes to us today with the experience as a yoga teacher, healthy cooking instructor, weight loss coach, functional medicine health coach, and energy worker. Jill has worked with hundreds of people applying a body-mind-spirit approach, helping them achieve more life balance. Currently, she owns Jill Hahn Health, where she provides Reiki and health coaching in Knoxville, Tennessee, and she provides it virtually. Part of her mission is to help Lightworkers regain their physical health so they can have optimum energy to do their work on this planet. I am so excited to share her with you and to have her bring in these light and love messages today. Welcome, Jill. It is so nice to have you on here. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, first, Kimberly, thank you so much for having me on your show. I'm so excited to share some cortisol tips and some health tips with all of your viewers. So I am many things. I'm a holistic health coach with experience in functional medicine, and as I was a weight loss coach, I've been a yoga teacher, healthy cooking teacher, had a healthy catering business, and really my health journey started way back over 20 years ago when I wanted to lose weight after I'd had two children pretty close together. And I'd never had a weight issue before, so I didn't know what to do. I saw a book that talked about how you can change your lifestyle habits to affect your health and your weight, and I was really intrigued by that. And I read the book in a weekend and started throwing food out of my house. So it really spoke to me. I finally found my passion, 20 years ago was healing, which had started physically healing, but just healing the body. So that journey led me to getting into macrobiotics, which is about food as energy and living in tune with nature. That led to yoga, that just on and on and on, eventually opening me up to Reiki and energy work. So it's interesting how I feel like everyone comes to the body, mind, spirit place in different ways. Mine started, physically, like with food. Then it got into yoga and physical activity, and then spirituality. So I love to hear everyone's stories about how they get into their balance.
And I love your story because I was introduced to macrobiotics years ago, and I know how amazing that is. And I also know that you are a Reiki Master, a Master Blue Star Celestial Energy as well. And the beautiful thing that you offer all of us, and particularly me, because by the way, all of you, I have used Jill's services, hint, hint, right? That's why I brought you on, because I am 100% behind the services that you offer, the things that you teach, the ability that you have as an intuitive as well. You don't just have like this massive knowledge base, which is amazing, and this vast experience you just shared about. Like, I have direct experience, by the way, but you also have that, like, I also follow my intuition, and I know that about you as a human being, that you really live an intuitive type of life and use that in your coaching when you do that. So tell us about the topic that you're talking about today.
So through all of my experiences in coaching, which I've coached hundreds of people through weight loss and chronic illness, and a topic that I think I found can help everyone is lowering your cortisol levels, which is the stress hormone. That's the hormone that your body utilizes. It's in our DNA back in caveman times when we were being chased by a saber-toothed tiger, and the body produced a lot of cortisol to give you that energy to escape. So that's the fight or flight mode. The problem, and that was great. That was for our survival and very helpful. And then once the threat was gone, the cortisol levels would drop and we'd be in a healthy state again. Well, with current society, we are bombarded with stress from multiple avenues, and we're staying constantly in that fight or flight mode. What that's doing is creating so much imbalance in the body. The high cortisol, it is messing up our sleep, our immune system, is creating weak muscles and bones. It is raising blood sugar, blood pressure. We're messing up so much of our bodies. So when we can do some really simple habits to drop that cortisol naturally. And that's what I like to share. As much as I could talk about, supplements and modalities, the simple common sense in nature can have so much healing.
I love the topic you've picked, and I think our viewers and our listeners are going to love this too. As you were talking about your story, I just related to this fight or flight, that it causes all the health issues. I know you and I have talked about that, like that belly that forms in women, because I'm 54 now and I get that cortisol, like stress belly if I'm not taking care of myself.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I know that you and I worked on me, like getting more movement, just different things like that have really changed things for me.
Awesome.
And the question I was going to ask you was if you can expand a little bit more on how you came to, in your own life, dealing with all that cortisol and then being able to shift it. Tell us that like backstory.
So looking back, at the time, years and years ago, I didn't realize that that's what was happening to me. I can look back and say, oh my goodness, my cortisol levels were so high and creating so many health issues for me. As I began to get into functional medicine and working with functional doctors, that's when I was learning kind of the true reasons why cortisol creates such health issues. And once I learned that, I was like a sponge for it. I want to learn all the ways to reverse that. All the ways to get that cortisol down. To me, I was like, light bulb went off. I was like, there are simple solutions for this. Now, it doesn't mean it's easy. Simple doesn't mean easy. It's habit changes. But when you can get in a healthier state.
I love what you're saying. Just quickly,
yes,
remind us and tell us, for people that don't know, and then get back into that story of what functional medicine is.
Yeah, so functional medicine is root cause, and it's really not medicine. It's really using natural means, lifestyle changes, diet changes, some supplementation to find the root cause of the person's imbalance and reversing that naturally. So it's root cause medicine. So I love that, because the changes I've seen are incredible with some consistent lifestyle changes. That's why I'm so excited about natural ways of healing, because the body can heal if you just get that inflammation and toxins down and cortisol down.
I love that. So back to, you're working for this doctor that's like functional medicine. You're part of that practice. So I'm going to send you back into that flow again.
Yes. So in training with the doctors, I learned many strategies for lowering cortisol that did come on. The light bulb went off later because I saw the many changes that happen with food changes and different lifestyle changes and supplementation. And I thought that was it. I was like, that's all we need to make all these great changes. And then I saw that if you don't address the chronic stress piece, long-term true health can't happen. So it's a huge missing piece that a lot of people overlook. They just want to do the other things and not deal with their stressful life. And that's the missing piece for true health.
And I don't know about my listeners, but I feel like you're talking directly to me right now in my life. That, I've been stepping out of my comfort zone. That creates a lot of cortisol because when you go into the great unknown, the caveman goes, danger, danger, danger.
Yes.
And then I'm known for not really paying as much attention to like the physical self-care and the natural kind of like you're talking about that earth-based is what you had told me before we came on, like that earth-based root cause. We are not just energy beings having a human experience. We're also having the human experience in the human avatar body.
So yes, so we do need to take care of our bodies. We still have, that foot in 3D.
Yeah.
And
we have the foot in, like, I'm in this body, I'm doing this experience here on earth, and there are things that we can do to take care of ourselves, like for me, drinking water.
Interestingly, even when I'm, giving a Reiki session, Spirit uses all my knowledge, all of our knowledge, for me to give messages to folks. So oftentimes, and more so lately, I'll get messages for people to be grounding, getting on the earth, spending time in nature. Nature heals. That's kind of a theme that's been coming up lately that I've got for folks.
Oh, I love that you're getting that, because that's both physical and spiritual. And really a message that's been coming through and channeling through a lot of people.
The beauty of that is you don't even need to know how it's working or what it's doing. Just get outside.
Let's do it.
Just do it. Be in nature. Living in the houses, wearing rubber-soled shoes, we are missing out on the grounding and healing of nature. It's there for us.
Oh, and I'm so excited for you to expand, because you have that knowledge of like what's, the reason why it's so important to get outside, the reason why it's so important to be, and you don't just have like, like I would share with people the spiritual, it's so good for you spiritually. Grounding is something that I teach mediums and I teach psychics and I teach energy healers. You have also like here's how our energy body avatar that we're living in, and the reason why it's interacting with the earth and why it's so important to do that. So I'm so excited to hear that from you. Is there anything else as far as introduction to kind of this topic that you want to say before we move into, Jill is going to share with us what to do in the morning, what to do in the afternoon, and what to do in the evening to take care of ourselves.
Yes. Just want to say that, lowering cortisol is, it's a gift to our bodies. It's a gift to ourselves. And when we are stronger in our physical bodies, then I feel that we are more able to be open to spirit. We're more connected to nature. We're more able to be open to spirit and to fulfill our purpose and live our passion and follow our dreams. So taking care of the physical body, for me, has helped me be more spiritual and open to my gifts more. So I did want to share that.
That's beautiful. I'm so glad you shared that. And you can see the passion just oozing out of you as you share about this stuff. I mean, you mean it. You have been through it. You've hit the bottom with it. You've actually used these skills. So all of these tips from what you've told me are things like you actually used and continue to use in your own life to keep those cortisol levels lower. And I can just look at you and see the radiant glow And I've seen you face to face in person, that health that you carry around, and it helps you do more in life.
And your energy helps others just by you being you, and it attracts people to want to know what you're doing, learn more about you, see what you're doing, what you're offering. I like to say, we don't attract what we wish for, and we attract what we are. So the
Yes,
energy that we are, like, that alone inspires me to, like, be my best self, work on everything so that I can not just be my best, but attract the best.
in alignment with everything that's meant for me. I love it.
Because,
So
yeah.
yeah. So the last thing, I think there was a little piece you mentioned before we came on about the life energy within you.
Life force, your life
Life
force.
force. Thank you. The life force energy. Tell us a little bit about that, and then we're going to get into the tools.
Okay. Well, your life force is, the percentage of life in you. So, hopefully we're working at 90% plus. However, if you're very sickly, or, having some health issues, your life force gets lower and lower. And then you're able to do less, be less, attract less, not live the life you're here to do. So, working on your life force just helps everything work better in your life. So I just like saying life force, and just picture your body filling up at different levels, and you want to be up here, right? So
how can I fill in more life force energy? And I'm going to tell you, when I get off of here, I'm going to add that to my repertoire of like pep talk, is like, and I'm going to go for that walk, or I'm going to get outside in the sun, or I'm going to put my feet in the grass. I'm going to drink that water so that my life force energy can be higher and I can stay longer, do more, fulfill my mission, right? So those of you out there that have a mission, this is going to be really important stuff for you to listen to. And I know that Jill also offers coaching. You can get that remotely through her. So definitely reach out to Jill Hahn, health.com, if you are needing assistance. I'm going to plug it in because I love promoting other people. And I'm so excited to have you on this show because you've helped me immensely.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So we are going to take a quick break and bring Jill back on to talk to us about, first, the AM, what you can do first thing in the morning to really help shift your cortisol level. Before we get into the tips and skills that Jill is going to bring through for us, we're going to have her share a little bit more about cortisol.
So something that I have seen in different people's hormone tests is the cortisol is not dropping like it should. So in a perfect world, there is a cortisol melatonin cycle. And as you know, melatonin is the hormone that helps us sleep better. So cortisol rises all night long. And that's what wakes us up in the morning, high cortisol. And then it's supposed to drop all day long, slowly. And melatonin kicks in at night, at sunset, and that starts increasing and getting us into a deep sleep. Well, what I'm seeing in people's hormone tests is the cortisol is high in the morning, it drops maybe a little bit, and then it just stays like this. So it is just wreaking the havoc, not letting the rest of our hormones develop properly throughout the day, and it's messing up our sleep cycle. So that's why it's so important to, all during the day, keep working on dropping that cortisol so that you can have the perfect melatonin cortisol cycle that helps your sleep and your overall health and hormones in general.
I am so excited for you to share this with us. Thank you for sharing that information. That's why I brought Jill on, because she's the expert that can bring in. So why are we even doing these tips? Well, here's why. Right? And you just explained my life and the reason I'm going to be following these tips. So we're going to take another quick break, and I'm going to bring Jill on to talk about lowering the cortisol levels so that we can be healthier. We are going to bring Jill back on, and she is going to share with us the 3 tips for the morning that can help you lower your cortisol levels and gain health.
Okay, so we are living in this natural world, yet we're in our houses on our phones. Nature really is providing us the best way to start the day, and that is with natural light. Even if it's cloudy and gloomy, there is still natural light that we have receptors in our eyes that tell our bodies how to create hormones and regulate our hormones for the day. And that starts with first thing getting natural light in your eyes, not the phone light. So if you're looking at your phone first thing, that light tells your body, make more cortisol, and it is messing up your hormones for the day. So even 1, 2, even 3 minutes natural light outside, that's not through a window, that doesn't count, that blocks the essential type of light that you need. You can open the window and through a screen is fine. Even if it's raining, I'll open the door and just stick my head out. I like to spend as much time as possible outside in the morning, but even a few minutes. And if you're driving to work when it's getting light out, you can crack your window, get that light in your eye. It's actually really, really important and very life-changing to get that morning light. So if you can wait, and even wait 30 minutes, if possible, to look at your phone, because you're also creating stress, increasing cortisol when you're looking at urgent matters you need to take care of, anything that's stressful, dramatic stuff on social media. So try to wait 30 minutes if you can. It's okay to look at your clock, check a quick thing, but you want to have some natural light time in the morning and time away from your phone. So that's the first tip. Secondly, it is important to eat a protein breakfast within an hour of waking. So eating protein, not carbs, in the morning sets your blood sugar up, sets your hormones for the day. So, protein, fat, and fiber are great to have in your breakfast, not carbs though. So if you're not hungry in the morning or even get nauseous when you think of eating, that is a sign of high cortisol. So it is totally possible to retrain your body and slowly get it used to being in this more natural rhythm. So do keep playing with that gently with yourself so that you can get in the natural habits. The other tip is waiting for caffeine until after you've eaten. So caffeine on an empty stomach just really ramps up the cortisol and actually increases it. So that's not what you want to be doing. So that's a habit change to work on. But I've had a lot of folks that they find it easy to have a warm, herbal tea or bone broth or some other way to start the day instead of having caffeine right away. And you actually will get more energy from doing that as well by waiting until after you eat, maybe 30 minutes or so after you eat before having any caffeine. So there are many more things you can do, but those are some really big ones that can have a big impact on your whole day. And by eating that protein in the morning, you're going to be more satisfied. It'll help with cravings. You shouldn't be hungry later in the day. So, I could go on and on, but those are some 3 biggies for the morning.
I love what you just shared. And I was sitting in the background going, guilty with all the times that I know. So I'm going to ask you for a little support for our listeners on this one. I know that it is such not a good idea to look at my phone first thing in the morning. I think you were saying even the blue light of the phone can cause it. There's stuff on there that creates stress. And I forget that, just knowing that there's things on, like there's that little background, like I know there's some type of stress on that phone somewhere.
One other thing, you are very impressionable in that just waking state. And do you want to put that into your energy, whatever you're seeing on your phone? Because and then you create an addiction because you're in that uncomfortable state.
Yeah, and then it's the addiction of looking at your phone first thing in the morning.
Yes.
And we know our phones, especially if you get caught in reels or anything like that. And my friend calls it doom scrolling first thing in the morning.
Yes.
Then you're like bombarded by all this energy, this information. And I love what you're saying. So quick, helpful tip on the 3 things that you shared. What can help someone who's developed that habit of looking at the phone be able to break the habit? Just like any type of small tip that you can think of that can shift that.
For me, I just immediately want to hydrate and get some natural light. Like that's just my new habit.
It's shifting and doing a new thing.
You could, when you first wake up, you could think of something positive for you. Maybe list off 5 things you're grateful for. Think of positive things you have happening that day. Just create some new pathways.
I love what you're saying. I just got chills. Is create that new neuro pathway by on purpose, consciously choosing. And I love when we can, I have the words discovering choices in my mind. Like we've discovered new choices, is we can come up with new choices. Like, instead of going straight for the coffee, drink the tea or like you had shared with me to do, a glass of water first thing in the morning. And it's really helped me to start the day. I'm actually more awake from the glass of water first thing in the morning than if I did any caffeine first thing in the morning.
Because you get dehydrated overnight and really you're tired because you're dehydrated.
And then the other thing that I was hearing you say is choosing something that's going to get your mindset in that more positivity, right? And that's, we're not getting into that today, but that goes along with that, like manifesting the life that you want, creating the life that you want. You want to start your day in a more positive place, and not with your cortisol like off the charts because you just looked at your phone and someone like, for me, it was like maybe a creditor called or, someone that needs my help is reaching out, and that's a stressful energy. And I want to help people, but keep in mind with energy, that's still a stressful energy to connect into that, right? Yes. To help them. I love what you're saying. And just the phone itself, like the blue screen, like just all of that. And I've heard that. And then the other tip about the sunlight, I'm so grateful I got to check that one, that I take my cats out in the morning and I'll put my feet in the grass and
a lot of folks thinks it has to be sun, but it's just natural light. It doesn't have to be sunny. It can be rainy and you're still getting those rays into
you're still getting the natural light versus being in the house. I love that. So just natural light in some way. Not through the window.
Right. The glass blocks it, right.
Yeah.
And it's something else I'm guided to say is that, it could be the fact of knowing that it's empowering to not look at the phone. Like I have control of my life and my health. And by choosing not to look at my phone, I'm taking charge of my health and I'm making positive changes.
I'm taking my power back. This is empowerment we're talking about.
It is.
Empowerment. I love you. So we are going to segue into the next segment, which is going to be about the lowering your cortisol throughout the day, kind of the afternoon part. So we'll be right back. So we are back, and Jill is going to come back on and share with us the 3 tips that you can use throughout the day to lower those cortisol levels.
So it's great if we start the morning out with some cortisol lowering, practices. Stress still, peeks its ugly head again throughout the day. Really just from our lives. So some ways that we can continue to lower cortisol throughout the day is taking little stress breaks. So step away from your computer for a few minutes, step away from whatever stressful activity you're in for a few moments, maybe 2 minutes, 5 minutes. You can take a walk. You could take some deep breaths. You could do some stretching. Just something to shift your mind away from the stress. So, of course, looking outside even could be nice, even if you're inside and you can look out the window. So just take a few minutes to drop that cortisol consciously. Several times you could set a timer on your phone, stress break, and make that a habit throughout the day. So that's one. And then trying to, staying in a mindset of positivity and gratitude. So you could even, again, have reminders come up on your phone like I do, of positive thoughts, things you're grateful for, just taking a different approach to your day and seeing the many things you can be grateful for, just kind of keeps you in a calmer place and mindset. And there also are, when you can take a break, somatic release activities you can do, even for 1 minute. You can pause and unclench your jaw and just drop your shoulders, take a deep breath, and you can just take your eyes from side to side several times and shake your hands out. And that can really move and shift your energy into a calmer place. So those are some ideas on what you can do during the day, but it's most important, whatever you find calming and peaceful, make it happen throughout your day and just create that new habit for yourself.
I love what you're sharing. It's creating those new neuro pathways, right? To create a new habit, you need to make that decision, like you said, make a commitment to yourself. These are wonderful. That's one thing that was suggested to me recently, and I love that you just said it. I have been creating a lot of shows and really producing and directing and editing a lot of the shows that I'm going to bring out to everyone. And I really enjoy it. It's just somehow the boss forgets to give us breaks, and her name is Kimberly Barrett. And I love what you just said, to make sure that I'm taking those little breaks, stepping away from the stress, stepping away from the computer, because that's definitely not healthy, to be in front of the computer for too long. And I love the tips that you just gave, right? That they're so simple. They're so like right in the moment, just do this type of little things. And that suggestion to find that.
And our phones are with us all the time, right? So why not utilize them? I have wonderful things pop up on alarms on my phone, reminders for me. So take advantage of that technology for the good.
And the reminder alarm is such a beautiful idea. I just took a seminar, and I'm just going to throw her name out there because she's amazing, right? With Mandy Morris, and she wrote the book, The Promise, and you're familiar with her. And she talks about every hour she sets her alarm and she checks in like you're talking about. And I'm like, could you imagine living a life where every hour you're calming your cortisol down? And I think you do a life like that as well. Like, you've trained yourself. I can tell when I'm around you that you've trained yourself to be in that calm, to take those breaks, to remain in that. And a lot of people are like, well, I don't have time. And it's like, you just gave us a 2 second, 3 second, maybe like 5 or 10 second thing you can do, like breathe 3 times deeply and blow it out. And that's going to calm it down. Or like, I love what you said, the brain technology of like sending your eyes back and forth and shaking your wrists. I was told one where you do the tapping like on the arm and you roll your eyes, and that, like, there's brain technology that we've learned that's backed by science for us these days.
Right. And find what works for you. Maybe, and none of those sound good to you. Find something else, find your peace and incorporate that into your life. We all have, my goal is to create peace in my day. That's an overall goal I have, and intention I have. So I do that. We make time for what's important to us.
And one of mine was my neighbor has a dog that, when we're in a duplex, so when she's at work, we've had an agreement that I'll go check on the dog and let the dog out. Well, I would let her out and like throw the ball for her, and that's like my little break. And I realized that it wasn't just about helping the dog go to the bathroom and not be lonely all day. It was also about me taking a break from all the stress of the day.
Beautiful.
Right. And I love what you're adding, because there's mindset work, there's spiritual work, like you do the Reiki on people. And what you're bringing in is, and there's like little physical things you can do that physiologically with the energy, the physiological energy of the body needs attention. And
Yes,
we talk about somatic breathing and somatic movement, and like dance for 5 minutes if you're into that, right? Or do like a quick little stretch yoga thing, or do 3 push-ups or plank, or, you know, whatever it is, right?
Yeah, but step away, mentally step away, calm down. You come back refreshed and you're going to be better at what you're doing.
That makes sense. And I keep thinking about dialectical behavioral therapy. I love everything you're saying. Like I have like little cheerleaders inside going, Jill is such a great coach. You know, like she's just got all this knowledge.
But I've seen this work. The reason I'm so excited about it and passionate about it is I've seen this work with many, many people. And there's science behind it as well.
Oh, and remind us how long you did the coaching, right, at that job, and then how long you've been out coaching as well, just on your own with Jill Hahn Health. I know you've been doing that for a while now.
Yes. So before all that, I was a weight loss coach for 3 years, learned a lot about people and during that, and what didn't work, what did work, and a lot about people's mindset and how to, you know, approach them. And then for 2 years, I was at the Functional Center, just amazing, helping people reverse chronic disease naturally. I'm still blown away by how the body.
You were the coach part of that, right? There were the like doctor medicine piece.
I was really the practitioner, because the physician, the doctor wasn't on site, so I took everyone through the protocols, explained the lab work to them. So
you get the physiological, the lab. You have like for the science nerds out there, like that's why I like Mandy Morris, because she'll bring in like the scientific behind it. And that's what I'm hearing from you. You're like the beautiful marriage of like intuition, Reiki, Blue Star, and by the way, I've got the science to back it up.
and have experienced it working in people. So yeah,
working in yourself and people. I just want to add that, like the experience of it working for me in my own life, because I think that speaks really, really big to people. And I've like watched all these other people do the same thing and it make a difference. I love you for this. So go ahead.
And I'm blessed to be, now I can share that though, but I want to share that with the knowledge and passion and the truth behind it.
Yeah. So getting, you know, all of this stuff out and letting people know, you know, here's the facts scientifically, like even in quantum physics energy, there's facts in quantum physics energy about how the energy system works in humans, you know, for my energy people out there. And then for everybody else out there, you know, here are the science proof facts of why lowering the cortisol is so important, and why using these skills first thing in the morning that we've gone over so far, in the afternoon, and when we get back, we're going to do evening practices. So we have 3 more ideas for you to be able to start to implement. And I love what Jill says. This is for you to create for yourself. We are back. We are going to have Jill come back on. I'm so excited. She is going to talk about continuing to lower that cortisol level, before you go to bed. So these are the 3 evening practices that you can do to take care of yourself.
So as we continue the cortisol lowering journey later into the day, you really don't want to exercise strenuously after 4 o'clock. It does create exercise strenuously does create stress in the body, and it's not calming things down. So you want to, after 4 o'clock, you really want to be starting the calming trend towards your evening. So that doesn't mean yoga and stretching and gentle walking don't count, but some a hit workout and a jog after 4, not ideal. But with that being said, it is great to take like a 20-minute gentle walk after dinner. So taking steps after dinner, it also helps your digestion, helps regulate your blood sugar, and just doesn't promote cortisol increasing. So it's a nice habit to get into, taking a gentle walk after eating. And then really nice before bedtime or anytime in the evening is stretching. Stretching is just a signal to the body to calm down, keep relaxing, calming, lowering your cortisol. So those are 3 evening tips. And of course, the phone, the light from the TV screen, the computer, your phone, that light is not allowing the cortisol level to drop enough for melatonin to kick in. So, if we were living outside in nature at sunset, as the light starts to get dimmer, the melatonin levels are going to start to increase and creating sleepiness and a deep sleep. So watching TV and being on your phone is not allowing that to happen. And I know some people want to supplement with melatonin. It's not the same, of course, of having it happen naturally. And you can actually take too much melatonin and have the opposite effect. I did learn that from one of our doctors. And it is a hormone. So taking melatonin, just be aware it is replacing hormones. And when you replace things in your body, when you take things in, your body will just stop making as much of it naturally on its own. So in a way, long term, that's not that may not be a good benefit long term, because you could actually stop your natural melatonin production. So just throwing that out there for you to play around with, and be aware of that.
And again, I love all of this because the idea of not like speed walking or jogging or doing like a heavy workout after a certain time. And I was thinking, and depending on when you go to bed, so how much time, since I have a different schedule than most people, right? So my question would be, since I live a life that's so different, people that live sort of like that circadian rhythm of like by 4 o'clock, they're starting to wind down, and then they're going to be in bed by like 9, 10, right? 11, like that type of thing. Being someone like me, depending on the day, I might be up until 12 a.m. So when would my cutoff time be if you're looking at that for like that, let's start to slow things down?
Well, I mean, the ultimate guide is nature. So, nature says sunset, look at the animals, they go to sleep, right?
Because
So
during the summer, you're going to get a lot more done because the sunset comes down a lot later,
and
like
the energy is, yes, and the energy of summer is more busy and active, and winter is slowing down, shorter
and then
days.
the
So
winter, it's going to be the shorter light. So
living
you're
in
really
tune with,
following that like sunset type of thing. 4 o'clock's not really sunset. So maybe like a couple hours before sunset is what you're saying.
are you talking about for activity?
For the heavy activity. Like I love the idea of going for a nice walk. I actually met this really cute elderly couple in the neighborhood who were like super sweet, and we're hoping to run into each other again, because it's like just a nice gentle walk and connecting with people that are also out on their nice gentle walk, right? That's it was very cortisol lowering for me. So I love that you say that. That was one time. So obviously Kimberly needs to like do that more often. They do it every day, and they're both like in their 80s, and except for him walking with a cane, they could tell you, like, you could see their health and their radiance from doing what you're talking about.
What a great habit.
So there's more example.
It's just not, it's just not ideal or in tune with nature to be active after sunset like that. So just, you can use that as a benchmark.
Using sunset as a benchmark, and maybe an hour or two prior to that if sunset's really later in the day. Right.
Yeah.
But I love that doing the light walk. And then I absolutely love, because I can't tell you how many times I haven't gotten very good sleep because I've been on my computer doing stuff and not taking the, like I guess my question would be, what's a good sort of general, how much time? Because if you don't have a regular sleep schedule, most people have a regular sleep schedule. So you would tell them how much time before you actually lay your head down on the bed would you give for in between being on the phone, being on the TV, or being on your computer? Because I do a lot of work on my computer and very creative. And
I do have to say, the body loves consistency. So, anything that you can be consistent in, you'll reap benefits from. But a good hour. I mean, and I can't
say an hour before you go to bed.
Say that I do that all the time.
So like bedtime might not be consistent for me, but I could be consistent with other things, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah. Right. Anything you can be consistent with is a plus.
Yeah, which I'm laughing. Any cat lovers out there will understand this, that when you have cats, there's certain things that you are going to become consistent about, and they're going to be insistent about it. Anyway, yeah.
So I wanted to say, like, the morning habits affect your sleep. So if you're consistent with the morning light, the protein breakfast, like, that helps your sleep. So like, everything helps everything else. So here's the thing: the more you do, the more dynamic the results. But anything is going to be helpful. But the morning habits help the sleep and help your whole day, help your craving. So just do anything that you can to start filling them in, see what feels natural for you, and they're all going to benefit you, especially the more you can do at the same time.
I love that. So to wrap all of this up, I'm hearing from you, it's really, really helpful. So I definitely can see in my own life the health problems that I'm currently in that I want to overcome, which you and I have worked on in many ways. Jill has helped me with, like, I used to be extreme sport, kind of, like extreme exercise when I was younger. And that's kind of triggering for me and very traumatizing. And you assisted me with, like, seeing it as movement, releasing energy, that it's very important to just move the body. And so I've been able to get healthier by just, 3 times a day, 10 minutes a day, doing some type of movement. Just throwing that out there. I just want to let the audience know, like, how amazing you are at working with each individual on what it is they're needing, and that intuition that you have and bringing it out. So to wrap it up, thank you so much for coming on and talking to us about the journey that you've been on, and then about how those high cortisol levels that all of us are living in, we know that that's really happening right now, and how important it is to really, like, get those cortisol levels lowered. And
it's such a missing piece. You can be doing so many other things right in your lifestyle. You can't avoid that piece, though. It has to be addressed.
Yeah. And no matter how busy you are, thank you for bringing on the, like, really simple, busy person, like, quick things you can add to your morning, your afternoon, and your evening to get better health and calm that cortisol system down.
So grounding, as we know, is connecting to the earth, that really helps detox us and cleanse us. And it also drops our cortisol levels as well, as I'm looking out the window. But grounding doesn't have to be hardcore bare feet on the grass. It could be, concrete counts, rocks count, bricks count, natural materials. You can also touch a plant, touch a tree. So any of those ways are grounding. And it's really important to do that every day. And if you can find multiple ways of doing that, multiple ways of being outside every day, then it just naturally happens. The healing, the cortisol lowering, all that just happens naturally. As far as food goes, food is energy. I look at food not even at the nutrition of food. I look at food as the energy of it. How's it affecting my body? So some foods are grounding, taking our energy downward away from stress. So root vegetables, like winter squash, daikon radishes, even some ground vegetables, onions and things like that are going to be carrots, grounding, especially if they're cooked for a long time, long baked in anything long cooked like soups and stews. Those are going to be grounding, just taking your energy down, versus things that have your energy up here, adding to anxiety and lightheadedness. Those are going to be the sugar and the alcohol and the even raw foods. So long cooked foods and vegetables are keeping us grounded.
Oh, I love hearing that, especially for digestion, that sometimes, eating a raw carrot for me isn't going to be as beneficial as if I cook the carrots.
Because digestion
I started salivating over like sweet potatoes and yams and those type of things.
Yes, so nourishing.
The question is, what are your thoughts on like the white potatoes, the red potatoes? Because I know they have like a little more carb to them.
Yes, great question. And I have little equations that I like to tell people. Carbs equal sugar. They're really the same effect in the body, especially processed carbs. Like processed foods really make you, I'm veering a little bit, but processed foods have you be more narrow focused, versus whole real foods open you up, even I think spiritually.
Energetically. I love the way you're talking about it. So when you say carbohydrates, what is the definition of that for people that are not scientific and
The
don't?
easiest way to think of it is starchy food.
So starchy food
is carbohydrates. So
that could include like peas, right? Would be like a little more starchy vegetable.
And yes, that's right.
Although some are vegetables, so better.
Some are more, for example, back to the potato, the russet potato, the typical baked potato, that's the starchiest that you can get. So more of a blood sugar response, rising, more of a sugar type response.
Versus, you just wouldn't want to do that first thing in the morning. If you eat that, you want that to be more like afternoon, right?
Well, or you can even choose a different kind of potato.
What would you recommend potatoes?
The red skin and the Yukon Gold, if you think about, they're creamier, they're less starchy, right? So they have less of that blood sugar, raising response in the body.
And still not first thing in the morning, but like later on. Yeah.
Right. I think it's great to have dinner leftovers for breakfast. That's fantastic. But stick with the protein and vegetables, non-starchy vegetables kind of a thing, and fats. But there are differences in potatoes, so you can choose a less starchy potato for sure. And eating the peel, if it's organic, that extra fiber is great as well, and all the nutrients.
And that would include like getting the yams and the sweet potatoes, right?
Yes, they're not a potato. They are, but they fall into like they're not as starchy as the russet potato, and they're
the russet's pretty bad when it comes to starchy.
I mean,
it's like a special treat if you're going to eat it.
If you're healthy, go for it, right? But even the yams are different. I like there's a Japanese sweet potato that's white inside, and it's more potato-like in texture, and that's kind of a fun one to play around. So,
and I love what you just said, that if you're on the scale of like where your health is on the higher side, then you can at some time during the day have like a russet potato if you want to. But if your cortisol levels are really high, your blood sugar is spiked out, then the russet potato might not be the wisest choice to make. I'm saying
But
choice
there are
because I'm like,
always
this is all
alternatives.
about our choices,
I
right?
have so many alternatives, honestly, that I work with people
There's
with.
alternatives. And the last thing that I'll say, because I love having you on here, is the other way that Jill helped me was really like talking to me about making soups and how that can be really helpful. And you're reminding me that I have a frozen soup in the freezer that I can have. That would be a healthy thing to do today.
Yes, I love soups. It's a great way to get hydration and nourishment in.
Yeah, I love that. So thank you so much for coming on. You have been such a pleasure to have on here. Is there any last sort of like thing that you want to say to the audience before we close up?
Since we were talking about food, I really want to say, because I've done this, please don't worry and stress so much about what you're eating that you're creating health issues with the stress. So there's a
I love it.
balance there.
So don't stress out over what you're eating. That we're also going to watch, and that'll be a different episode with Jill, is on mindset and lowering cortisol levels. So we will be having Jill back on to talk to us for sure. So thank you so much for coming on. I am so overblessed with the beautiful people in my life, and you are absolutely one of those people.
My pleasure. Back at you, Kimberly.
Yeah, and to the rest of you, make a decision that your health is important if that's something in alignment with what you're being guided to do. I love what Jill said. I'm all about like follow your intuition, take what you like, leave the rest, right? There's one truth, many voices. So definitely find what fits you. And we are just sending love and light out to all of you out there. I love it. That was really awesome. I'm going to hit end recording now. So that way is there anything else that you want to share before we wrap things up?
Just thank you so much for letting me share this. I love sharing any of this if it's helpful for anyone. But please do, of course, use your intuition as to what feels good for you. This is a lot of great things that I've shared. Feel into what works for you. And then that's going to lead to the next right thing for you. So trust your intuition.
And then I shared before on Sharing Love and Light show that we practice the spirituality of imperfection. So give yourself grace, right? Give yourself grace. 1% improvement over a year becomes 365% improvement by the end of the year if you improve 1% every day. So that's a Mandy Morris saying that has stuck with me for a really long time. And I just have to share it whenever I can. I'm like, we just that, baby steps, little progress. That's really what shifted me. I'm not at like the absolute perfect place in my life. Just with Jill's help, you've really helped me get to a much better place in my life. And I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing right now if I didn't. and I'm telling the audience right now, I am so going to start retraining myself into the new things that you just shared. And the biggest thing for me is setting that alarm on the phone. Right. And the good news for me is I do have pets, and that's another cortisol lower is like, go be with your pets, pet your be with your cats. My cats, if I am on the screen for too long, they will come up and make sure I get away from it. It's like a alarm. Right. So anyway, enough about that. I am so grateful that you came on today. Thank you for sharing with all of us on Sharing Love and Light show. I hope that we can have you back on at another time, on another season, hopefully. Right.
Best of luck to you. I'm so excited for you.
Yeah. So that, you can share more of your knowledge. You have so much of it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us on Sharing Love and Light show. We hope you will join us again next week for more beautiful love and light messages so we can raise the vibration and consciousness on the planet. See you next week, sending you lots of love and light.